I've been doing things that they told me I should never do. I've been doing things that they told me I could never do now. Never do, I could never do. I've been looking back and I'm the only one who ever knew. My dreams began to turn out.
What's up, you guys? Krysten Janzen here, online fitness coach, content creator, and competitive powerlifter and bodybuilder. Thanks you guys so much for tuning back into my channel. As you guys can tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to be helping you determine how to assess your lower back pain. As some of you might know, I actually went through a back injury about 3 months ago. I was gearing up to compete in provincials for a powerlifting meet and ended up hurting my lower back at the bottom of a squat. So I've been kind of dealing with that since the end of March and determining basically how to get back to normal again. It has been a long road, but I finally feel like I'm making some headways. I've been getting a lot of questions about what I am doing. I know lower back pain is a big issue for a lot of people, so I've been doing a lot of research and reading to determine how I can get myself better. So I thought I would share what I've been learning, because I've been learning a lot. Something to keep in mind with this information, it is subject to change based on your situation. So just because I've injured myself doing a squat doesn't mean that the steps that I'm taking to recovery are completely necessary for you. So if you are dealing with something very serious and you are looking to actually get better, determine what's going on with you, I recommend getting The Back Mechanic by Stu McGill. This book has been a blessing to me and it's definitely helped me quite a bit. Let's go through what I did to assess my back pain. I started off by just doing my own self-examination. There's some of the questions that Stu recommends that you analyze for yourself. So we looked at, does the pain change with my intensity? And at first, yes it did. When you roll over in bed, did you find that you encountered painful aches? Yes, I did. It took me a while to finally figure out how I should be sleeping in bed. Basically, you want to ensure that you are sleeping in a position that doesn't cause you to wake up with back pain. I found for me that sleeping on my back with a pillow underneath my knees actually really helped relieve a lot of pain. Next thing to assess is what makes your back pain worse. So certain exercises, movements that might trigger the pain, you want to make sure that you identify all those activities. Next, you want to pay attention to if your back is getting worse or better throughout the day. Like I said in the beginning, for me, it was at its worst in the morning. Once I figured out how I should be sleeping properly, I found it was at its worst in the evening. And then the last most important question is if your back is worse or better from walking. So walking is actually one of the most important rehabilitation exercises when it comes to helping with your lower back pain. So you want to make sure that walking isn't actually irritating the area. So I found with me, walking actually helped make it better. So the next step is to evaluate your pain trigger. So as you'll see right here, I'm just sitting on a bench. You can do this on a stool or a chair, something where your feet are going to be flat on the ground, and you're going to do a couple of tests here to see if it irritates your back at all. So the first test, you're just going to pull gently on the chair seat to add compressed load to your back. You want to make sure that you're sitting upright, your chin is upright, your shoulders are back, and just by pulling yourself into the chair, pay attention to see if you notice any pain triggers. The next test, if you don't feel any pain, is to then flex the spine and repeat the pull-up force to see if the pain sensitivity changes. So by going into flexion, you just have your shoulders cave forward just a little bit, again pulling up into the chair, paying attention to see if there's any pain triggers from this. And then the next test is to maintain the slouched posture, but flex the necks, tightening the spinal nerves, and repeat the pull-up force. As you can see here, my chin is tucked into my chest. Again, just seeing if there's any pain triggers from that. This third test is actually when I started feeling pain when I was doing my own back assessment. And then there's one more test, the fourth one. You still want to slouch forward, but then you extend your neck to relax the nerve tension, and then you want to repeat the pull-up force. Then you want to repeat the entire sequence, the 4 tests with the spine in an extended posture, noting if there's any pain, better or worse. So I didn't do the extended posture in this demonstration here just because I felt pain when I was in flexion. So if you don't feel pain at all when you're in flexion, do it again with these 4 tests, but with your back extended. Something to quickly add on here before we move on is you want to actually just maybe take some notes, make sure that you're keeping track of your analysis. All right, so the next test to assessing your back pain is the heel drop. So the heel drop will determine if dynamic loads cause rain. So by doing this, you gently perform the heel drop without any muscular bracing. So you just want to be completely relaxed. So you have your heels up, just like you're doing a calf raise, and then you're just going to bring them down. Then you're going to repeat it, but when you repeat it, you want to actually brace your abdominal wall. If the pain is increased, then loading with abdominal bracing is not for you at this time. Test number 3 is the tummy lie. So for this one, you just want to lie on the floor for 3 minutes. Stop after 30 seconds if you have any pain. Don't continue if you have any pain in your back whatsoever. But if you don't, then you want to continue on for the full 3 minutes. So if your tummy lying reduces the pain when you are lying down, you found a good position that will help relieve your lower back pain. I found that this actually really helped me. So if I was just noticing any lower back pain whatsoever, I always did the tummy lie for about 3 minutes, and I found instantly my lower back pain was gone. The next test is loading. So all you're gonna do for this test is stand with your back in a pain-free posture. So this should be just a neutral or slight deviation from neutral. Hold a 5-pound dumbbell at your belt buckle and observe and record any perceived pain. If you can perform this comfortably, then outreach your arms holding the weight away from you. If there's pain at your current stage, your back is very load intolerant. In terms of daily life, this should translate into eliminating unnecessary loading on your back during recovery. So you want to pay attention to these pain triggers that you are identifying here, because it's going to help you determine what you can and can't do during your recovery process. So for this, I didn't find any loading issues on my lower back. It didn't have any pain whatsoever. So that's really good news. All right, and then the next test is the pelvic motion test for lumbar spine motion tolerance. So basically, you're just gonna mimic a squat. You're not gonna go ass to grass. And again, just pay attention to see if there's any pain triggers here. So after completing these tests, you then want to determine your pain category and recognize certain patterns that you can and cannot perform. So like I said before, what helps one person might actually hurt another. So that's why it's so important to take these tests seriously, take notes to determine what actually triggers your pain and what actually doesn't trigger your pain. So I'm just gonna go through a couple of these pain categories so you can determine which one you might fit into based on your own self-assessment from these specific tests. So the first one is pain with spine flexion. So features of this is pain is worsened with slouched sitting, bending and gardening, or even tying up your shoes. So things you want to avoid if you find that this might be your pain category is when bending forward, avoid flexion motion in the spine, and learn to hip hinge. There's a bunch of YouTube videos where you can actually teach yourself how to properly hip hinge. The next pain category is pain with dynamic loading. So the feature of this pain is pain with walking up and down stairs, walking over uneven grounds. Things that you want to avoid if you find that this is your pain category is avoid dynamic loading, such as running, heavy lifting, and sitting too long or standing too long. Okay, the last one that I'm going to go over, just because there are quite a bit, but the last one that I feel is kind of common is pain with compression. So this is where you find that you have pain from holding loads in front of you. For example, this might be when you're opening a window. The number one thing that you want to avoid is reaching forward for the door, for the window, stuff like that you want to try to avoid. So give this self-assessment a try. Like I said, this is just based on my experience. If it's something that you are really struggling with, highly recommend you get the back mechanic. It has done wonders for me, and I know it's done wonders for other people as well. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I'm gonna continue discussing this in future videos so I can give you guys some more context of what you can do after you have actually identified your back pain, what you think is causing it, and one of the biggest things that you want to do after you have assessed your pain is not continue to find it. So always ensure that you are sitting in a position where you have no back pain. Play with how you should be sleeping so that you don't have any back pain while you're sleeping, when you're waking up, and when you are going to bed, because it's like picking a scab. Every time you go searching for that pain, you're basically starting over again. So you want to do everything that you can to avoid finding that back pain. So I'm gonna leave it there. Make sure you guys like, comment down below, and subscribe, because I love hearing from you guys. In the next video, we're gonna talk about some spinal hygiene principles that you can apply to help try to eliminate that back pain forever. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.